Welcome to the Work It podcast, where EQ meets IQ, sponsored by Work It, Training Workplace Success. Visit workit.careers for more information on how you can discover and awaken your true career path for personal fulfillment. Welcome, everyone. I'm Lori, your host, and today we have a special guest, Tyler Smith from Southington High School in Connecticut, and he's got a fantastic story of his journey to his career path, being only 15 years old, and already have identified it probably since before the age of 10 that sports broadcasting would be his path. So I'm excited to introduce everybody to Tyler Smith. So welcome.
Thank you.
So I understand here that you are on the high school baseball team.
Yes, I am on the freshman Southington High School
So
baseball
you made the cut.
Yep.
And how long have you been playing baseball?
Since the age of 4, 5.
Wow. So any particular position that you...
I mostly play first base, or I'll pitch here and there, but mostly first base.
Okay. Well, you were one of my original students back in 2015. And in 2015, you were around 11 years old. And most parents can agree that a lot of 11-year-olds don't really know where they're going, nor do parents expect them to know where they're going in life from a career standpoint. But I think you have helped me understand that career paths can be identified at a young age. And you're a shining example of someone who almost, added a lot to their resume from the age of 11 on. So maybe you can kind of share with us what you've done to really build up your skill.
Yeah, well, it started like being at Giamatti here in Bristol with the Lori Theriault Regional and World Series. When I was younger, I worked up in the press box, and I'd see like Nesson and they'd be working, and I thought it was really cool to see like the Nesson guys like talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew them from TV, from like hockey and baseball, so I thought, oh, that's so cool, they're here, I'm right near them, and like it was really cool because I thought, oh, I could do that one day. Mm-hmm. And that's just what like got me on my start, was seeing them announcing the Lori World Series.
How old were you when you saw Nesson?
Well, ever since like 7 or 8, like when I first started working up in the press box, it was something like that.
So how did you get into the press box? I mean, this is the
East Region
for
the World Series in the summer.
Little League World Series. So for those baseball players out there, this guest today has had the opportunity for many years, probably since the age of 7, and today you're 15,
yep,
to work in that press box. Thanks to a mentor, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Corey Wright. He's the director of all East Region baseball. He got me to throw out the first pitch when I was 5 there. And ever since then, I've been going back every year, and I've been working out and doing more and more there. Next year, when I turn 16, I'll be able to work and get a job for the maintenance crew in the summer. So I'll be able to actually work there and help out as much as they need. And he got me on my start. Like he's helped me and like get everything I can do there, and like just be able to work there.
So it sounds like Corey saw the spark in your eyes as far as sports in general, and as much passion as Corey has for Giamatti Field, I'm assuming that you have equally as much passion for what that field delivers.
Yeah, it's just cool because I used to be in Little League, and to see like just how much fun the kids have, it's kind of like I don't want to ever not go there because it just shows how much fun they have. And like I had so much fun in Little League too. I never got to make it there, but like it'd be cool. It's just cool to see how much fun they have and be able to be part of their fun, because they know who I am. When I go there, they meet me and they know who I am, and after that, they still know who I am. Kids that are 19, they still know who I am. They're going to college, they know who I am. It's kind of cool to be part of their memory of that place.
So when Tyler took the Work It testing, he scored very high as a leader and coach. And, having this enthusiasm, and coaches out there who live with this enthusiasm naturally every day can understand, there's a public figure that is inside of a lot of coaches out there who influence others. And Tyler at age 15 knows that he's on that path to influence people around him. So he has to be careful what he does because people will be following him. So talk to me about your social media and who's following, who are you following, and how many followers do you have right now at age 15?
Well, I follow a lot of people. I follow a lot of famous people because I like seeing what goes on in their everyday life. A lot of like celebrities and baseball players. Currently on Instagram, I have 1,656 followers. It's mostly just friends or people that I've met, at Giamatti or, from other states or just older people that I know. Yeah, a lot of supporters.
Awesome. So, one thing that we didn't mention earlier in the start of this discussion was Tyler has a unique way of playing baseball. He actually only works with one hand, and playing baseball and working maintenance at Giamatti Field, you have a challenge that most kids don't have, and making the high school baseball team, as we talked about earlier, is huge accomplishment. So you have learned to use the gift of leadership and coaching, as well as your passion for baseball and other sports, which we'll talk about in a minute, to get you forward. So talk about some of the obstacles that you might have run into.
Well, obviously you have to catch and you have to throw, and normally like when you catch with your left hand, you throw with your right hand or vice versa. And I catch with my right hand and throw with my right hand. And I basically taught myself how to do that, and with some help from coaches, because when I was growing up playing baseball, I didn't know anyone that was like this. No one was in my family, no one from friends. So I kind of taught myself, and it was kind of an obstacle, but now it's like not even, I don't even think about it. I just do it. And that's the same thing with hitting. Like you have to hold on to the bat, but now I just think about it. I don't think about it. I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to really worry about it. And that's helped with coaches as well, especially my coach now. He's teaching me how to hit and get my hips through and just make my swing more relaxed and make it look more professional.
Yeah, you're actually giving the coaches an opportunity, a challenge that they've not ever probably run into themselves. So there are many sports people out there that, probably not many, but there's a few out there that have just one limb and have made it. You are going to be right there along with them.
Yeah.
And I feel that every day for you. But not only are you very good in baseball, but you're also very good with your voice. Your gift is also your voice. And being able to coach and inspire people all over the world will most likely be a path, that follows that sports career that you have. So let's talk about sports broadcasting. What part of sports broadcasting do you admire the most?
Well, I like being there in the big, high, tense moments. Like if you're in a World Series game or a championship game and it's down to the wire, and basketball, if there's like 3 seconds left and they hit a buzzer beater, like I want to be the one to be there and talking about it, and the one getting out of his seat and screaming about it, and just knowing that I was there for the moment that crazy shot happened or that crazy moment happened. That's
Mm-hmm.
always been that one thing that I've always wanted to be there for.
So, we're talking heavily on baseball, but what sports do you follow on a weekly basis?
Pretty much all of them. Like I wake up, I'll watch Sports Center. I have ESPN notifications on my phone. Whenever something happens, like basketball, college basketball especially. I love watching college basketball. It's just so fun because they're not getting paid, so they're just doing it for the love of the game, and the games are always interesting and close. So basketball is definitely one of the ones that I also fall into line with, and football too, hockey. Like I can enjoy any sport, doesn't really matter.
So when you're having talks with friends and even adults who follow college basketball or any college sport, you can pretty much keep up the conversation.
Yeah, some adults are actually kind of surprised because like I'll be talking about like old basketball stats and old baseball stats, and they'll be like, "How do you know this for a 15-year-old?" Like
Mm-hmm.
I know this because I was there for it, but you had a 15-year-old shouldn't really know this. Like it's kind of crazy that you know all these stats.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy. I agree with them. And I think you were building up your library in your head at age 5. You started then and just really started to investigate and research and retain.
Yeah, well, it's all kind of photographic memory too. Like you remember seeing certain things or certain plays or just hearing certain things, and then you remember it forever. Or like weird facts about it, you always remember that, and then you can remember the main fact about them, and it just carries on.
So do you also store the backstories on these players?
Sometimes it depends on what kind of player. Like if they're really famous, I know exactly what happened with them. Some of them not really, but I know like where people have come from, what schools they went to, something like that. Like NBA players, I know what college they went to, stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, you certainly have a lot of confidence in your speech. At age 15, just being my guest as on this podcast is experience for you. And let's talk about your resume. So here you are at 15 years old. You've just entered high school. You're a freshman in high school, Southington High in Connecticut. And you are someone that is building your reputation and making sure that you surround yourself with good people. And you're also inspiring people that may be going on a bad path because you are naturally a coach. Let's talk about what you've done since the last time I saw you, which was age 11 in Work It class, and what you've done to build your resume.
I've definitely tried to get out there and do things with people and kind of just do just get out with friends and get your names out there and do things. And I've also tried to work with community and we've been talking about working in with animals,
Mm-hmm.
Going to an animal hospital or going somewhere where I can help dogs. And
Mm-hmm.
we've always talked about that, things that when we get the time we could always go out and help animals and get them, pet them or be there for them because they always need that one person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if I get time, I'll just try to do things that help with the community and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're naturally a volunteer.
Yeah.
So you talk about animals and then you also talk about people. So you actually have admiration for both. And that's, the EQ and IQ we talk about in this podcast is how, some people are stronger on the IQ and then some people are stronger on the EQ and then some people are balanced. Well, I have news for everybody. Tyler is quite balanced and there's not too many students out there that have control of both the EQ and the IQ without, letting the ego flare. So Tyler is very well balanced. He catches himself before his ego gets too big. But there's one area where his ego is very big, and that is in public speaking. So if he has a great idea and somebody's not allowing him to have the stage, he's probably going to wiggle in his seat a little bit because he's got this great idea that he wants to share with everybody. Is that true?
Yeah, I do that with friends too. They'll be arguing about something and I just have to get in. I have to put my 2 cents in and say, oh, well, that's actually true. And point someone in the wrong direction because I just have to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like you have to be able to do it.
Yeah. So, you have such a love for the, speaking, the stage. And your stage is definitely going to be surrounded around sports. Baseball has been kind of your go-to, though, since the age of 5, 7 years old. But it's not that you dislike any other sport. It's just that baseball seems to be the strongest.
I've grown the biggest bond with baseball. But any other sport, I can watch any other sport on a daily. And just knowing about the sport is interesting to me. But baseball is definitely the main connect for me. I've been connected to it forever.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that any other sport can come ahead of baseball. And that's different for other people. I know they think basketball is better, but that's just their opinion. My opinion is baseball.
So do you have any favorite teams that you actually want to put out there?
Well, the Red Sox.
Red Sox are your team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or any Boston team because, they're local and
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Boston teams.
New York is local too.
Yeah, but Boston's better.
So any players that you really admire?
Mookie Betts.
Okay.
For the Red Sox. He's pretty interesting. He's young and he's smart and he can play baseball as well. So
okay. How about any college basketball teams?
Well, UConn is always pretty interesting. I mean, even though they're not always that good, it's always good to support the local team. And
You talk about men's?
Well, men and women, they're usually both pretty good, and it'd be cool to go to UConn or meet players from UConn.
Yeah. So are you thinking maybe UConn might be a destination college for yourself?
Hopefully, if I can get a scholarship or something big like that, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're all rooting for you on that. So talk to me a little bit more about this mentorship that, not all students find a mentor at a young age. Usually it's parents that mentor or try to mentor their children. But you found a mentor outside of your family. Talk to me about, what is it, Corey Wright? Mm-hmm. So Corey Wright has been able to show you over the years.
Well, we've kind of had the same personality ever since we met. We've been we are both funny. We can make people laugh in a situation where it's not really that funny. And he's always just literally been there for me. Always been at my baseball games. He's coming to my basketball games. He's helped me at Giamatti. He's got me a job basically for the next 4 years of my life when I turned 16. Mm-hmm. So he's always just been able to help me and he just understands because he was my age and he went through the same problem. So he understands like, oh, like you're just going, like you're a teenager, you're going through these certain things, and he gets me in like certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a good guy because, you know, he knows sports. I like sports. You know, we can just talk about sports on a daily, and it's just someone that you could always talk to about anything.
Okay. So he works very closely with Giamatti, and obviously when the fall comes that's when they have the playoffs, right?
Well, the summer,
In
yeah,
the summer,
yeah.
August?
Yeah, July, August.
Okay. So that's busy time. And you're usually kind of working there side by side with him.
Yeah.
And obviously he's doing more of the management side, and you're doing more of you know, keeping the press box organized in the fields. And obviously it looks like you're going to be working the fields, which is awesome. So having you say that you've been selected to work there if you want for the next 4 years usually tells me that you have shown a potential employer that you're reliable and that you're passionate about what you do and that you want to learn more. So, you know, kudos to you because you actually earned that since the age of 7. So you kept coming back and showing up. And part of getting a job out there anywhere is showing up and showing interest. And you did that. So, you know, that's good advice to give to any 15-year-old out there because they're about ready to embark on the real world of work.
Yeah.
You know, part of it is probably 85% of it is showing up. And a lot of people just have a hard time showing up. You know, a few reasons why not. Maybe because they're not interested in the job. But it's definitely some good advice. And I feel, based on how you scored with the work it test, that you'll always be trying to give people good advice.
Yeah.
So any public speaking opportunities that have come your way in the last 4 years?
Well, I did some radio work. I was on a radio interview podcast, and I've done that, and I've been able to get out there.
Have you done any morning announcements at school?
No, they do that for more like juniors and seniors, kids that are trying to like get a job. So obviously, if I want to do that, I'll probably end up doing that my junior year.
Okay.
So they give out announcements and stuff like that in the morning.
Well, you'll be a natural at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. With your personality, you are combining your advice that you give people with the understanding that obstacles can be overcome. So, you know, you were born with only one hand, and you didn't let that stop you from getting to where you are today. You used your other hand, which is perfectly strong, to do what all the other kids were doing. And you worked hard at it to get noticed and make the team. So when we talked about your social media followers, people admire that because there's a lot of people out there having pity parties over crazy things that they can easily overcome.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you were born with this, so it's a natural thing for you. You don't know what it's like to have the other hand. But you're having fun teaching the coaches how to coach you and how to train you. So talk about some of the fun that you've had with your coaches over the years.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like a few weeks ago, I remember this. I went to this pitching coach, and, you know, we were talking, and he's like, "Oh, so you're a lefty?" And I was like, "No." And I showed him, and he was like, "Oh." And it was just funny because he didn't realize until I showed him. And that's how most people are. They don't realize until I tell them or show them because they just don't notice it. Like they just talk to you and they get to know you and they don't notice it. And that's about it.
Right.
And like my coach for high school, like he pulled me over one day after practice. He's like, "Is it okay if I ask questions?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." You know, like, it's new for them. And like, it's funny because it's like, I've been dealing with it and they haven't, but it's new to them. And I get it. And, you know, they can ask questions all they want because they need to know, because if they've never dealt with it, they need to know if they have to deal with it next time around.
People walk on eggshells, and your personality helps them get off of those eggshells and just be normal. Yeah. You know, you were born without a left hand, and you want to be as good of a player as the other kids. Yeah. And you started working on that from the age of 5. Mm-hmm. So when these coaches are introduced to you for the first time, they're like, "How do I deal with this?" And you help them deal with it.
Yeah. And I also I show them that I can be a leader and I can help out and with other kids, because they think, "Oh, well, this kid just does it," but I can help them out because I know the game as well. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's just funny because they they don't know. So once they get to know, it's like you're just normal because they don't even think about it. You're just playing normally.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it. And I don't really think about it either. Like it's not a struggle for me either. I don't I don't really think about it. It just happens. It's like I haven't really thought about it.
So give me an example of maybe a coach that had to learn a new way to show you technique.
Well, so my baseball coach for the high school, he's never dealt because my hand comes off the bat when I swing, so he has to figure out a way how I can get all my power before the hand comes off the bat. So he's been every practice when we hit, he's always been working on that and like trying to get me to focus on moving, like getting my hips through. And he's just been working it differently than other kids because other kids they know how to do that, and he's working little things with them. But me, it's a whole different thing, which is pretty cool because you got to learn how to do it a different way.
Right. And, you're bringing up a good point. Problem solving, that for the team creates a unique challenge for the coach. And not all coaches are up for those challenges. They like, business as usual, and it's the same technique for every student. But you're bringing coaches to a whole new level, being on the team, which is great. And some coaches are more open to it than others. And, do you find yourself where you've been benched because coaches are not comfortable with your skill?
I don't think so. I've never had that happen to me because they've learned that I actually can, for my ability, I actually am pretty good. Like I don't play as much now in high school because we have a lot more first basemen. So, you got to even out the playing time as much as you can. And I understand that. I'm not going to be mad for getting benched because I know it's going to be fair but not equal. So I have to deal with that. And that's not a problem because at least I'm here. There's kids that aren't even on the team, and kids who may not make the team next year in varsity. So yeah, at least I'm on the team this year. And so I'm kind of proud of that in general.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly proud of you. I know that, based on how you, went through the Work It program, I'm confident to say that you are a natural born leader. Public figure for you in your future is a natural for you, and you're going to keep building up those followers because everybody in Southington, Connecticut probably already knows you, but the rest of the world needs to get to understand how you made it to where you are. And every year it's going to be that much further, but you're going to have a lot of people really trying to follow you and follow your lead. So at 15 years old, I give motherly advice to you. Just make sure you're leading them in a good direction because everyone is going to want to follow your type of personality, which is very understanding of people who have high EQs and high IQs. You can relate to all types of personalities, which is a beautiful thing. You don't have a lot of enemies. And kudos to the mentor, Corey Wright, who continues to inspire you in the baseball scene. And ESPN, everyone at ESPN, listen up, because Tyler is definitely someone that is going to be an employee there someday and adding to your already wonderful network.
Thank you.
Any advice that you would give to 11 to 15-year-olds? Because you've been with this program for 4 years and you've started to build that resume, and obviously you've gotten parental support through all of this. Any advice to young kids and parents out there?
Yeah, I just say stick with what you're choosing. Like whatever you choose to be your thing, if you're really interested in it and you really want to stick with it, don't let other people change what you want to do. Like if your parents don't want you doing it, even though you don't want to offend them at all, you have to go with what you feel because you don't want to be stuck bored at the age of 30 doing what you don't like doing. Absolutely. And wasting your life doing what you're not interested in doing.
That's beautiful advice. That's beautiful. There's a lot of 30-year-olds out there doing gaining education on things that they don't really have a passion for.
Yep.
So I'm glad you identified it at a young age and, helping to spread the word of sports passion as well as career passion, because you definitely get it. So anything else you want to add?
Well, if you're into sports, like into baseball, I would say become an umpire, especially because, you always get on the umpires. And if you want to be a leader, I recommend being an umpire because it helps you, one, understand the game and understand why umpires make calls. And, you understand like being a leader, what being a leader really is, because you're leading the whole entire game. So it helps you to be an umpire because you understand that you're important to the whole entire thing. So if you want to be understood or be a leader, umpiring is really the number one thing to do, because then you can be a leader in the game.
Did you add that to your resume? Are you certified?
Yeah.
You are. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're working on further certification on it too?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good advice. So in a couple of years, you'll be looking at colleges, and we mentioned UConn, but there's probably others that you'll kind of scope out. So good luck in that search. Yeah, you're definitely going to be a great employee no matter where you land. And I encourage you to do more public speaking, because it's a gift that you have. And thank you for being my guest today.
You're welcome.
All right. So everybody, thanks for joining. And we will be back next Monday with our next guest. And again, we are here to discover and awaken your true career path for personal fulfillment. So thanks for joining us.